So in the beauty industry, they tell you that there are 3 paths that you can take to be successful. And that is open up a product line, do lash trainings, or you can open up a salon. And I tried 2 out of 3 of those things. And the 2 out of 3 was... What up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Victoria, and this is your go-to space for business tips, branding strategies, marketing advice, and content creation. Today, I want to talk about a story that's very dear to my heart, and that is transitioning from doing just lashes in the beauty industry to doing one-to-one online coaching and mentoring. Because right now, if you're at that stage, like something is gently nudging you to shift your focus, or maybe you've been exploring new business opportunities, or you've been having the inkling to reinvent your business and your branding altogether, then I know that this video will serve you well. I know firsthand that when you are pivoting, change can be scary and daunting, but I want to help you make that smooth transition into your next business move because it is absolutely rewarding. You're going to learn so much about yourself. I'm here to not only share my personal transformation, but to actually give you insight and advice that you can take to help you navigate your own pivot in case you're going through that right now. So first, I want to tell a little bit of my story of how I went from servicing one-to-one clients to now pivoting to coaching online in the mentorship space. It was not easy. It was very messy. And I'm going to give you some key takeaways in case you are going through your pivot right now. So you can actually bypass all of the shit that I went through and you can actually have a smooth and easy, seamless transition into your next phase. When you are thinking about pivoting, what you are essentially doing is opening up another income revenue stream because you will still need to do what you are doing to keep the lights on. And as you are getting your second business venture off the ground, that's going to come with a lot of time and patience and trusting the process. So for me, I faced my first season of chronic burnout, and that is what I want to help you detour from. You don't really have anybody telling you when to take your next vacation or when to take your PTO. I actually believe that when we start our businesses, that we are the first in our families to start a business. So we don't really have anybody else to look up to and tell us what to do or how they've navigated that path. The industry has come so far now. Thank goodness that there is this new wave of coaches and mentors because as you have seen, some of us that have built our businesses off the ground, now there is another way of teaching you how to avoid some of the mistakes that maybe we have gone through in the past. And that's why I believe in mentorships. You want to invest into a mentor that's a few steps ahead of you to navigate exactly what you are going through so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they have. And that way you can actually position yourself to a winner instead of always feeling unsure and what is my purpose. So as we are the first in our family to start a business, we are really understanding how to add these new skill sets. So now you are servicing one-to-one clients. Now you are your own social media manager, account manager, and now you have to file your own taxes. So that comes with so many hats that you have to wear. And especially if you were like me, I came from corporate America into the beauty industry. So I went from working a 9-to-5 with security and insurance, and then coming into this, now I have to be my own advocate. And when you come from that 9-to-5, when you are starting your business, you don't really have anybody telling you when to take your next vacation or when to take your PTO. You have to be an advocate for yourself. So in the beginning stages right now, if you are building up your business, you want to make sure that you're taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health at all costs. Because for me, when I was building my business, I was just in the studio every single day, getting everything off the ground because I was so used to making a certain level of income that when I was pivoting now into lashes, I was like, how am I going to make that same income? You got to just hit the ground running and start posting and building the trust. And the one thing that I was obsessed with was social media. My fiance actually at the time didn't really know how it works, and like your clients are not online, like they're in the street. So having me go out and pass out my business cards and letting them know exactly where I'm at and where they can find me, there is value in that and making sure that you're getting out in front of your clients on the streets. But for me, I was like, no, my time and attention needs to be on my website, my Google business profile. I made sure that everything on the back end was curated so well. So again, talking about how you are now wearing all of these business hats and then you're serving your clients, but then there's going to come a point where it's just, is this all that it is? Like I feel overworked. Why do I feel like my money is not growing? What don't I know? And why do all these other girls have it figured out? So when you go through burnouts, you want to make sure that you are opening up an extra day on your schedule. Without having this sound too confusing, why you want to open up an extra day on your schedule is so that you can solely dedicate that day for admin work and not taking any clients physically. You can do so much with that admin work day. You can get back-end stuff done. You can start preparing and just have that day solely for what you're going to do for your next pivot, what steps need to be taken. Maybe you want to have that as maybe an extra self-care day because maybe you're overworked. but specifically opening up a day on your schedule where clients are not allowed to book so you can have that to work on your pivot and your next moves. In the beauty industry, they tell you that there are 3 paths that you can take to go down to be successful, and that is you can open up a product line, do lash trainings, or you can open up a salon. And I tried 2 out of 3 of those things. To be honest, those 2 ventures never really felt like me or felt like something that I was actually passionate about. And I would hate it if you were to choose something or go down a path that you didn't actually feel aligned with, but you only choose it because you saw other people who were successful in the industry doing that. So that's what I want to help you avoid, because if it's one mistake that I can take back is that I didn't look around and do what everyone else was doing. And that was actually my first indication that I could just pave my own path. So if I could go back and tell Victoria, the baby lash artist in 2021, one thing, it would be that you don't have to follow and do what everyone else is doing to be successful. It's a clear indication that you can just pave your own path and be a trailblazer. I wasn't really seeing anybody else pivoting into the online space. People were selling digital products, but I actually wanted to go full-time online. And because I didn't see it modeled, I thought, who am I to actually do that and take up space and pave a new way for other people? Because I didn't fully trust myself. And I would hate it if you're here watching this video and you don't trust yourself either. What I really want my girls to feel and move into is being better decision makers for yourself. Even if you feel like you're going down the wrong path with that decision that you made, you will learn more about yourself during that path and during that journey. So never make yourself wrong. When I was pivoting, I decided, okay, it's 2021. I had already built up my business and my brand, and I was successful with my clientele. But my page on my Instagram, I only had, 1,500 followers of loyal clients. And I decided really quickly that I'm going to open up a product line. And I was really proud of it because it was very intentional. This is when I launched my mirrors, and these were clouds when I was in my pink era. This one is the diamond tweezer, and this one is Stunna. And they're all rose gold and black. And I also had my lash trays, and I put adore you, and on the little inside right here it says just like magic. So my product line was very intentional, and how I started off with doing the product line is it was 2021. I had COVID, so I was stuck in my bedroom, and all I could do is really scroll through social media because I was quarantined. And that was when Reels was a new feature on Instagram, and I was like, I'm gonna try to post a reel because everyone was going viral at that time. So I got in at a really good time to grow my following. When I decided to open up a product line, I said, now I only have just clients, and I need to build up a community fan base so that I can sell my products to. So when you are pivoting and you're thinking about opening up a product line or doing trainings or opening up a salon, make sure that you are factoring in your community and that you have a community to actually sell things to with intention. So when I got on the Reels trend, I was like, I don't really see anybody else doing vlog style tutorials of how to lash with me. So I started doing that, and I would do voiceovers and show my process, and my Reels blew up overnight. I went from 1,500 followers to 3,000, 6,000, 12,000, and it just kept growing from there. So I really got my head start on really putting myself out there, and that was the first clue that I should have really known. I love social media and content creation. And so somewhere along the line, when I was building out the product line, talking to the manufacturers, getting the products in, now I'm getting my fan base, you would think that I would have all the confidence in the world to actually launch this thing. But somewhere along the line, as I was keeping up with social media and getting the product line down, I just felt burnt out and not really connected to my purpose with this product line. So I didn't feel like it was integrity for me to fully launch it, because I liked the creativity of it, but to want to be known as a product line brand owner, I was like, this is not really what I want. So that is when I hit my second season of burnout. And I wish that I could go back and tell myself, make sure that what you're doing right now is something that you actually want to be known for. So then at that time, my friend invited me to Cambodia to go on a yoga retreat. And as I was hitting that second season of burnout, I went to go and see this masseuse. And she rubs Tiger Balm all over you, and she's a muscle whisperer. She can tell exactly where you have traumas in your body so that you can release them out. So I got a lot of answers that day, and she's like, you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, you're sitting down all day, like you're doing too much, like you're doing the most right now. So if you are right now in that season of what is next for me, and like you're just so burnt out, make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Open up that extra day. Make sure that you factor in going and working out and exercising your body. No one is going to tell us to do these things. We have to take care of ourselves. We got to make sure that we're pouring back into ourselves first too. The product line, I didn't really let that take off. I just don't really want to do this, and I really need to take care of myself and my spirituality right now. So that's what I did. And then my second season, I was like, instead of opening up the product line, at least I have the products here and I can now start to train and do more lash education. And when I did that, I was already getting traction with my reels and people were starting to see me as credible and as an educator because I was giving out a lot of free information on my reels. And I don't regret, a lot of people say you gave out way too much, but honestly, if you really want to build up trust and credibility, then there shouldn't be any gatekeeping. And that's what I did. So people were finding me and wanting me to train them. So I thought that was a clear indication that I'm ready to train and that I'm ready to educate. My specialty at the time was mega volumes. The creativity now putting my training man together was great. I'm actually really proud of this. See, this has so much valuable information, and what really lit me up to make this is because I added in social media and content creation at the back end of my trainings. And I called this workshop the main squeeze, which is the micro movement that you're going to learn how to pinch your lashes and crystallize. So the creativity that I put into these cards and my trainings was fun, but when these girls were coming to me for these trainings, I remember sitting at one lash training and I'm like, I love the creativity part and I couldn't wait to get to the branding and social media part. But throughout the entire time, I was like, I don't know. I don't also feel lit up by this. I don't know if I really want to continue doing lash trainings. And mind you, I was successful at it. Like I was making good income from that. I thought maybe, and so I can scale and get this a little bit more off the ground. Maybe I can open up 2-day lash trainings now. And that is another thing that you're going to run into. Just because you are what you are in your industry, if you're a lash artist, a makeup artist, or a nail tech, when you start to do trainings, you want to make sure that you are positioning yourself as the go-to person for that thing. Because I remember I would see other girls launch their 2-day trainings or like launch things. And I'm like, that was piquing my interest. Oh, they're launching things. And that seems like something that I want to do. And they always had people in the comment section like, oh, I'm adding to the cart when your launch date comes. And when I launched my 2-day lash training, I heard crickets and I remember crying and feeling like a loser. And that was a clear indication to me that maybe I don't know how to sell.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here really quickly because this also might sound confusing. You might be thinking, what the hell was Victoria thinking? Why didn't she just follow her passion? But when we start our businesses, and remember, I went from corporate America 9 to 5 straight into the lash industry. Now, I had a backstory. I was getting my eyelashes done and I knew that I would want to do it someday. But going and losing my job and then going into working for myself, because I said I never want to feel like I can lose my job again. So now as I'm working for myself, we don't really start off our businesses with asking why we're doing this other than to make money and to hit the ground running. So I bypassed over so much. And trust me, I do believe that this is my path and God placed me here for a reason. So I do not regret any of my experiences. But that is why I am helping coach and mentor students in the industry who need to have their foundations down first. Because if you're starting your business, which I need to make money, then we're bypassing so much. And I learned so much along the way. And I do believe that when you struggle and challenge with things, that it is placed there so that you can master it and then teach others. So I do know now that this is wholeheartedly my purpose. And so when I was looking at other coaches, like, oh, they're launching things, I didn't know, like, I saw other girls in the lash industry launching things as well, but not to like what a coach was doing, if that makes sense. Like they were launching trainings, but I was like into launching master classes and workshops. And, you know, like I didn't know that I wanted to be online full time. So that is where I'm coming from as to finding your way as a lash artist in the beauty industry. When you are done taking one-to-one clients and you're ready to scale or work to the next value level, that is you graduating to the next.
And maybe I should get a coach and a mentor. And that was the very first coach that I ever got. I'll never forget her. And when she came into my life, she looked at all of my product suite and my business model. And then she asked me one very important question. And mind you, she was a coach that specialized in helping women sell online and feel confident and also pivot too. So I was like, this is exactly where I want to go. And because I felt so lit up by being in her coaching containers, and she asked me one question that I'll never forget. Victoria, what is it that you want to be known for? And without hesitation, I blurted out branding, social media, and content creation. And it felt like such a weight off of my shoulders because for the first time in a very long time, I felt like I was finally speaking my truth. And I only saw her to be the model in the industry to pave that way to coming as an online coach into the beauty industry. I got a lot of my inspiration from her and understanding like how business model works and building out product suites, knowing from freebies to low ticket to medium to high ticket and like what you need to offer to get people into your world. And that was the only thing that piqued my interest. Now, mind you, when you're in the beauty industry and you're thinking about pivoting, there is absolutely another way for you to take, and that is to sell digital products or sell online offers, because you don't technically have to be servicing with your client one-to-one. You're still in exchange for your time. I had to look at brand foundations and brand strategy because that is actually what I believe in. Before you can position yourself and be distinct and be visible, you have to carve out and print out your own unique blueprint, because your foundation is something that is unique and tailored to you. So you have your mission, your vision, your purpose, you have your values that all instill what it is that you want your brand to be known for. So as I am now positioning myself as a branding and social media content strategist, I am now opening up other business models and different access points for people to work with me. But that takes time to build the trust and credibility. So you want to make sure as you're positioning that you are being very clear in your bio and who it is that you help, what you want to be known for, and what you specialize in. Because when you are in the industry, I'll use lashes for example, and you have on your account, I do classic, volume, mega volume, hybrid, wet set, like you are the jack of all trades. Why a client will choose you is because you have a specialty and a unique flavor. So for example, when you break your foot and you go to the doctors, you need constructive surgery. You want to get the best doctor in the world. You're not just going to go to any generic doctor. You're going to go to the foot specialist that can help you get your foot back to good health. So that's exactly how you should look at your account. What do you want to be known for, and completely own that. In my videos where you are a tech versus an artist, you have to go through the different stages to understand what your artistry even is, what you want to specialize in, what lights you up, and what is it that you want to actually teach and educate on without yawning at the end of the day. You want to stick to those things and position yourself in your content. So restructuring your bio and now pumping out the content and letting everybody know who it is that you are here for and what you specialize in, what your vision is for the industry, what your mission is, and how can you help your people reach their mission faster. That is what's going to set you apart tenfold. But wait, there's more. Now when you're pivoting and now positioning yourself, that is going to require you to learn new skills. So for example, when I was going from lash artist servicing one-to-one clients, now I'm exercising new skills such as creative thinking, or how to be a better educator, more brand strategy. Like there is still some things that I had to sharpen so that I could be very clear on who I serve and what is it that I can do for you. So as you are positioning in full wholeheartedly, you're going to have to acquire new skills. And again, that also comes with learning about your capacity levels. Because now that you're adding in that extra revenue stream and you're still serving one-to-one clients, like you need to be able to hold it all. Because pivoting can be easy if you don't overlook all of these steps, making sure that you add the extra day in your schedule for yourself. And then as you get that off the ground, maybe you have to add an extra day. And that's how you can slowly wean off your day job and start to position yourself as what you want to be known for. And that's exactly what I did when I was servicing my one-to-one clients. Going into coaching full-time, I had to learn a lot about business models and product suite and the difference between freebies to high ticket offers. And I had to learn how to get lead generation. And I'm telling you, when you want to pivot into the online space, it is absolutely doable. Even if you want to open up a product line, it is doable. I can't believe how easy it is, but to actually stick to it, because as you grow, as the industry grows, so will the information and so will the education. So you want to make sure that you are diving into all the education and tools that you're going to need underneath your belt to help your people, always leading with integrity. If you've watched my previous video, you know that we talked about having your intention, your identity, integrity, and your innovation down. And that is wholeheartedly what I've believed to be true as I've navigated this beauty industry space. So I think that's why right now, more than ever, why learning about brand strategy, marketing, content strategy is at an all-time high. Because if you want to make it in the online space, you're going to need to understand people's buying behaviors, what's going to get them to move, and what it's going to take for you to be a skillful leader and go-to authority in your industry. So I encourage you to always continue to invest in your education. If you see a mentor, you see a coach that's a few steps ahead of you, and you want to be exactly where they're at, then do not be afraid to make that investment. Because how you are spending right now, and if you're wanting to call in that high caliber, high quality client, do you think that they're questioning their decisions and that they are spending with the cheaper mentor compared to the high ticket one? No, like you want to make sure that you are a full embodiment of who you want to say you are and owning that. So with all that being said, this goes into my next mistake to avoid, and that is to make sure that you are building a solid network and support system around you while you are in your pivot. When I was pivoting for the third time, I remember telling my fiance, hey, I want to be a coach and I want to go full force into branding, social media content. And at the time, he's just like, okay, yeah, sure. But then as I'm like investing into my personal brand and doing these photo shoots, and now I'm online even more, and I'm trying to sell confidence and sell myself and position myself. So I had to be online every single day. And that wasn't something that he was used to. And we got into a lot of arguments about that. He has apologized to this day. He even said that I can share this story. But that's why I say to have a supportive system around you, because you got to believe in your vision. And that is the hard truth. He thought, I don't know if you can make a full-time income from this. And boy, did I prove him wrong. And he has apologized to me so many times. And when I was actually getting my coaching business off the ground, the students started coming in like hotcakes. Like last year, I served 9 students alone at high ticket prices. And he was like, I'm sorry that I ever doubted you. And I'm glad that you kept it pushing, because that was the one thing that actually helped me reach my next level in my business. And when I was scaling, because now I'm not just taking one-to-one clients and overworking myself. Now I'm actually pouring myself into my passion, and I'm getting the second business off the ground as I'm pivoting. So you want to make sure that as you are doing that, you have a supportive system around you and to tune out everybody else. So that's going to go into with stop consuming and start producing. I had to mute a lot of accounts. I had to stop looking at other people and comparing myself, and I had to just go into my own tunnel vision. And that is the one thing that has absolutely saved me, because as someone who is coming into the coaching industry at first, I had a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of self-doubt, because I thought that there'd be other coaches that could probably do it better than me. And why would anyone want to come to me for coaching and mentorship? So I also had to invest in my own coaches at that time. And I got one not just for selling, but had to lead with authority. And then my third coach, she helped me actually scale my business. And I was really successful at that. So again, you're never going to stop investing into yourself as you're wanting to reach that next level version of yourself. It's always going to be afraid to take that first step. It's only because you haven't met that version of yourself that you want to become. But I promise you, if you give it time and patience, in a year from now, you'll look back and see how far that you have come. So making sure that you're surrounding yourself with a supportive system. And for me, that began with, if I want to learn from the people who have been a few steps ahead of me, and I'm going to invest into them, and I'm only going to talk to them, and I'm going to reduce consuming on television. I'm going to reduce my scrolling time. I'm going to reduce the amount of time that I am spending with maybe friends or family just for a moment of time, just so I can get this off the ground. And you'll also find that as you're up leveling, that there might be people who all of a sudden want to go out for coffee or hang out with you more. But I want you to use a level of discernment, because you don't want to feed into the distractions, and you always want to be feeding your focus. And when you're pivoting and when you're meeting your next level self, it's going to require some sacrifices. And I'm glad that I went into that moment of no longer consuming, and I just went into producer mode. So in conclusion of that, making sure that you always surround yourself with a supportive system like your coaches or your mentors, and that you're only talking about things that's going to help you level up to the next stage of your business. Always use discernment, and don't feed into your distractions, only feed into your focus. And last but not least, I have to include this in here, because when you are pivoting and you're ready to scale your business, you want to make sure that you are well prepared financially, making sure that you are budgeting in for costs, because as you are getting the second business up, maybe you might not be putting too much focus over here, and you might lose some clients along the way. So making sure that you have extra cushion for yourself in case that you actually need to go full force into what your pivot is now. I want to leave you off with this. Pivoting can absolutely be such a great reward for your growth, your mental stimulation, wherever it is that you want to take yourself in your business. It is good that you don't always stay complacent, but for me personally, I just want to make sure that wherever I am stepping foot into any career, that I'm always leveling up and being 1% better every single day. And every year I am actually learning new things and making sure that my income is constantly being raised. As always, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you can, make sure that you like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for my next video this week.